Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, congressional Republicans slam President Biden's warning to Israel about U.S. military assistance. And hot rides are at the U.S. Capitol to represent the Specialty Equipment Market Association and Performance Racing Industry Rally.
And we are cooler to end the work week. Your forecast on the way as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. President Biden has been warning Israel for weeks that the U.S. does not support a planned invasion of the southern Gaza city of Rafah, one of the most densely populated areas in the world. Now the president has ordered a hold on U.S. weapons being sent to Israel that he says would be used to kill innocent civilians. But there is criticism of the hold from some who say withholding the weapons hurts Israel's ability to fight Hamas. CBS's Natalie Brand has more from Capitol Hill.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Thursday, quote, "If we have to stand alone, we will stand alone." This comes as President Biden has warned the U.S. will not provide weapons for a Rafah offensive over concerns of civilian casualties in the southern Gaza city where more than 1 million Palestinians are sheltering.
Major military operation in Rafah would further weaken Israel's standing in the world, would further create distance from its partners in the region who actually share Israel's goal of seeing Hamas defeated.
The Biden administration this week has paused a shipment of thousands of bombs to Israel, a move congressional Republicans say emboldens Hamas.
When your enemy takes the people they represent and use them as pawns to drive up the casualty rate to hope the world turns on you, you don't want to reinforce that model.
We asked Senator Lindsey Graham about congressional Democrats' concerns Israel may be violating U.S. military aid requirements, with a report on their compliance expected soon.
So what I would say is let's listen to see what the State Department says.
As the White House pushes to accelerate humanitarian aid to civilians, the first shipment of supplies left Cyprus Thursday, headed to the new U.S.-built pier off Gaza. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
While the new pier will provide more aid to Gaza, soon ramping up to 150 trucks a day, that's a small number compared to the 500 trucks per day going through Gaza's land crossings. An American detained in Russia is concerned about the arrest of a U.S. soldier there. Paul Whelan has been detained for more than 5 years. While speaking to CNN, he seemed optimistic about U.S. efforts to secure his release, but was also concerned negotiations could be set back if U.S. Staff Sergeant Gordon Black were designated as wrongfully detained like him. The State Department has not yet made a determination in Black's case. Black was arrested last week on theft charges. A New Hampshire man found guilty of murdering his 5-year-old daughter arrived in court to receive his sentence. A jury found Adam Montgomery guilty in February of second-degree murder in the death of Harmony Montgomery. Montgomery was also found guilty of second-degree assault, witness tampering, falsifying physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. Prosecutors have asked he be sentenced to 56 years to life in prison for the crimes. Harmony was reported missing in 2021. The family of an active duty senior airman who was shot and killed by sheriff's deputies in Florida are demanding the release of their body cam video. The incident happened last week when deputies in Okaloosa County were responding to a disturbance call when 23-year-old Roger Fortson was shot. But the family believes they went to the wrong apartment. According to the family's attorney, Fortson was on a FaceTime call when the deadly encounter occurred. An effort is underway in Virginia to change the names of 2 schools back to their original names, which honored Confederate soldiers. In 2020, Stonewall Jackson High School became Mountain View High School, and Ashby Lee Elementary became Honey Run Elementary School. The Shenandoah County School Board is set to vote on a request by the group Coalition for Better Schools to restore the original names. Time is ticking with the FAA's authority set to run out tomorrow night. Yesterday, the House voted to pass a 1-week extension for federal aviation programs, but senators from both sides say they will not vote for an extension. The FAA reauthorization bill would provide more than $150 billion to the FAA and $738 million to the NTSB for airport modernization. Today, the Senate passed a procedural vote on the bill. The Senate has less than 30 hours to bring the full bill to a vote. Hot rides rolled up to the U.S. Capitol to represent the Specialty Equipment Market Association and Performance Racing Industry Rally. Vehicles of all makes and models were at today's event. One organizer says SEMA's show gives these groups an opportunity to meet face-to-face with lawmakers to raise awareness about the industry.
It's really important for everyone to understand that there are parts on these vehicles from all over the country, and we're supporting a ton of small businesses in the American economy, supporting enthusiasts and industry alike.
Driven to Cure drives this orange Nissan GTR to events around the country to raise awareness and money for cancer research. And by the way, Executive Director of Backroads of Appalachia, Eric Hubbard, was among those attending this event.
Well, the weather is much better on this Thursday, tracking some sunshine for some of us across the mountains. A live look from Perry County, also from the London Corbin Airport and from I-64 over in Rowan County. We are dry today. A small chance of a few spotty sprinkles as we go into this evening, but for most of us, we are tracking some mainly dry and mild weather on this Thursday, up to 76 in Pikeville, also for Jackson and Clintwood, up to 79 for Harlan, also in Jonesville, and 77 over in Manchester for Clay County at this hour. So we are close to average for the middle of May, but a first alert, some cooler air is not too far away. Up on first alert, pinpoint Doppler tracking some mainly dry conditions right now, but we could see maybe a stray shower or a few sprinkles thanks to this cold front, also an area of low pressure. And that may bring a few more showers by your Friday as well. But the bigger story tomorrow, also to kick off this weekend, some cooler conditions are on the way. We see highs back in the 60s, lows in the 40s, but another first alert, some fantastic weather is on tap as we go into your Mother's Day on Sunday. More details on that forecast, plus some more rain chances by next week coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. Mystic Dan's photo finish win at the 150th Kentucky Derby will be written in the history books. For one Central Kentucky man, that win means a lot more, and it's now written on his arm. WYMT's Phil Pendleton and photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw introduce us to the horse's handler and his permanent memory.
It lives on his forearm forever.
I told myself, if Dan wins the Kentucky Derby, I got to get that ink because he's a Derby winner.
Aaron Kennedy took care of Mystic Dan at Keeneland. He made sure he ate all his meals and was his hot walker. Kennedy says they became close in those 5 months.
You know, it's not that long, but like I said, it's the pinnacle, man. We've reached the pinnacle.
Thank you, Kurt. Once again, hit 50, gentlemen.
The 60-year-old also became close to this horse at the 2016 Keeneland September yearling sale. Here he is handling a horse called Justify, and he would later win the Triple Crown. There's ink for him and another Kentucky Derby champ that he took care of called Always Dreaming.
Any of the Oaks or Derby horses that I come in contact with, what I told myself, I'm going to get the tattoo.
But for Kennedy, Mystic Dan was different.
This is the closest that I've been to a Derby winner as far as getting to work with him and hands-on.
45 years in the horse business, and now he works with champs at Magdalena Farm in Lexington. It's owned by Oaks and Derby winning trainer Kenny McPeak. Kennedy says these thoroughbreds are like family.
These horses are like your kids, man. When you spend maybe 10 or 12 hours a day with these animals and you get attached to them, like it's hard.
But it's overruled by passion.
Working with young kids and horses is my purpose, and I put a lot into it, and I take a lot of pride.
So now Mystic Dan's famous ride will be written down in history in more ways than one.
It's sketched in history now, and just like it's on my arm, it's in history to be there to the day they put me in the ground.
Both horse and horse lover approve. In Lexington with photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Kennedy says his next horse tattoo will be of 2020 Derby champ Authentic. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, we take a look at the top 5 biggest cyber threats for children.
Plus, we could see a few showers tomorrow, but we are trending more sunny by Mother's Day. Your forecast after this break.